Okay. Okay, so I've thickened my frame up. You might want to do the same thickness just at the top and bottom as well, so your frame is a little bit more even, but just for speed, here's one I made earlier. Okay, why is that wet? Oh, I don't know. That will dry, that's fine. So I've got my thickened frame, and as you can see, I just cut, I think, 3 layers of cardboard for that one. It can be as thick as you like. And obviously the thicker, the better. Don't worry so much about the ragged edges of your aperture, your window, or the edges, because we're going to solve that in a minute. Okay, so put those to one side. So in your kit, you have received some pieces of sugar paper and some pieces of different sized origami paper. Okay. You have also received a few spare pom-poms, and I thought you could use those up and decorate your frame with them if you wished, or you can make something else with them. I just had some left over, so I thought I would include those in the kit. So I've got my frame and I've got my piece of paper. So you might be able to see that I've already started the process with this. Okay. So what you want to do is line up on your paper, and you want to fold the paper so that you mark out how it's going to wrap your frame. So do that first. If your frame is too big for the paper that you've been provided, you can just cover the front, or if you have bigger paper, mimic what I'm doing here, just with a bigger piece of paper. I mean, you can even use newspaper. This part of the frame is really, it's not so much about the aesthetics and how it's going to look in the end. It's basically to seal in your edges so it looks sharp and it looks clean. So I've bent that round, and as you can see, I've marked out the aperture inside, and I've put a cross in there, and I just used a ruler. It doesn't have to be perfect. So make a cross inside, because that's going to help you cut. It's just going to mark out where you've cut. So the next thing to do, you can make a few marks on the outside. We're going to glue. So get your glue. Make sure you know which side of your frame is which, and I am gluing this side, and then that will stick back on to my piece of paper. Okay, you can see I've cut a corner here, and that's so when we wrap this paper around the frame, you don't get a huge overlap. So go ahead and cut the corners. And then more glue. Okay, so I've glued the piece of paper to the frame. This is going to be the back of the frame, and that is going to be the front of the frame. You can see there's some overlap, and obviously this isn't quite dry yet, so once it is dry, I would go ahead and clean up any overlap that you can see, and just cut there. I mean, you could glue it up into the frame. It's up to you. It's up to you how you tidy up. Okay, so the next step is to cut this X. Okay, so I'm going to do it with my blade, but you can use scissors, and what I would recommend you do is carefully poke a hole in the middle and then cut to each corner. Okay, and then you create some flaps. Just got to make sure that it is actually cut through, Shannon, so we'll do that. Okay, there we go. That flap is done. That flap, and that flap. Okay. More glue. So as you can see, what's going to happen is you're going to seal up the inside of your window so it looks nice and clean and sharp. Okay, so the next step is to glue those flaps down onto the back of the frame, and as you can see, there's some overlap, isn't there? So we need to get rid of those, and we'll just quickly do that with the scissors. You can measure them with a ruler, or you can just cut with your own judgment. I mean, you could even leave one uncut, so that maybe we can put a little pin through there for the exhibition. It's up to you. There'll be other ways to hang. So I am just going to cut them off. Okay. More glue.